I think ultimately people are looking to have a better life and a better experience. I doubt there are people out there that just want to be miserable. People want to be comfortable, they want to be happy, they want to be joyous. But are they looking for self-realization? I don't know.
One thing that probably most people do suffer with is having their awareness associated with that outer self.
Yes, and social media encourages that, right? I mean, if you go on most people's timelines, a lot of people's timeline, it's amazing. You can scroll through and it's just there's 1,000 posts, and it's 999 pictures of themselves, selfies. And I think social media has made people extremely selfish, and all people think about is themselves. Here's what I'm doing, look at me here, look at me there.
Which is the kind of the opposite of what being in a monastery is.
It's all about serving. And you look at also public figures and celebrities and influencers, they constantly post pictures of themselves and their amazing life traveling all around the world. And I see and I know some of these people, and they never post pictures of their students or who's following them. It's always about them.
And it's really about serving. But it's easy to lose that in this kind of hyper social media where we're all on our mobile phones, we have all that instant gratification. And yet without serving, you'll end up kind of having this really weird, miserable life.
It is all ultimately about serving, and serving humanity and serving the environment. And you can't serve if you're always thinking about yourself. I get tons of messages on social media and email. People always saying, I need help. Can you help me with this? Can you help me with that? And I have a problem. I need your help. Can you advise on this? I never get emails of anybody sending me and say, Dandapani, I listened to your content. It really helped me. Thank you so much. How can I be of service to you? What can I do for you? As a monk, 3 qualities were really important to cultivate: humility, obedience, and responsiveness. Humility is the state of knowing that I don't know anything. You adopt the attitude that I am the beginning of the path, I know nothing, I'm super enthusiastic, and I want to learn and grow. Obedience is obedience to your teacher because you trust him or her, and also obedience to your superconscious mind, which is your intuitive mind. The greater knowing of your mind that knows everything, that's the area of your mind, the superconscious that's all-knowing part of your mind. Be obedient to that superconscious. So when you get an intuitive flash that tells you, do this, which quite often people refer to as a gut feeling, I call it an intuition because the gut kind of is more related to your instinctive mind. So you're intuitive, be obedient to that. Because the instinctive mind likes the same thing. It's the nature of the animal mind. It loves repetition. The intellectual mind likes new things. That's why the intellectual mind can be fascinated with the internet and gets caught in the internet because it's always serving you something new online, whereas the instinctive mind loves repetition. That's why a cow, for example, is an instinctive animal. It can wake up every day and eat grass. It wakes up and goes like, oh, grass, amazing. It never gets up and goes like, God damn it, I want granola. Give me bacon and eggs today. No, it eat grass every day for 20 years and be totally happy with it. Imagine if we ate the same thing for breakfast every day for 20 years. We'd probably go like, no, like put something different on it, right? But the instinctive mind loves the same thing. And the instinctive mind staying in this hut, in the 10 by 10 foot hut, gets comfortable. It knows its surrounding. And that's what the instinctive mind wants, right? It wants familiarity. It wants everything to repeat itself in the right way. And when it does that, it feels safe and secure. And that's why in the monastery and in the military, they have rituals and routines. Because if you look at the instinctive, intellectual, and intuitive, one of the things you want to do is to make the instinctive mind be totally safe and secure. And by that, you create routines. Monks have routines, soldiers have routines. You feed them at the right time every day, right? When that happens, the instinctive mind of a soldier and of a monk becomes safe and comfortable. They don't have a fear and flight feeling. So now they can move out of the instinctive mind and function in the intellectual mind or the intuitive mind. So a soldier can go into battle and not live in the fear of the fight or flight area of the mind. And he can be in the intellectual area of the mind. So you see, I see the enemy coming this way. Maybe I'll go around this way and shoot him from the back. Because if not, he's in the instinctive mind. He'll go, I'm going to fight or I'm going to run. And by creating routines and rituals, you make the instinctive mind feel secure and calm. When you hear your intuition speaking to you, the next step is be responsive. Respond, do something. If you see something on the floor that shouldn't be on the floor, pick it up. Don't wait for somebody to tell you to pick it up. Go do it. And that's the state monks were trained to have, the state of responsiveness. You see a dirty dish in the sink, go wash it. Yeah, it's not yours, I know, but wash it. Learn to serve.
Are these the 3 good traits of a good human as well?
I think so. Yeah, humility, obedience, and responsiveness. People hate the second one, obedience. Don't tell me what to do, right? And people get so defensive. Nobody spends time with themselves. And when I say to people, they go like, oh, I have alone time. Every evening when I walk my dog for half an hour, that's my alone time. And you're like, no, that's walking a dog. When I'm at the gym working out, that's my alone time. And you're like, no, that's being at the gym. Alone time is you sitting down in a chair at home or on the floor, cross-legged, no music, no journal, no podcast, your eyes closed, and spending time in contemplation and reflection. Not meditation, but in actual reflection, and really having a conversation with yourself, the same way we're having a conversation, getting to know each other and each other's opinions and thoughts. You have a conversation with yourself, and people don't do that, right? They don't spend any time doing that, and if you don't spend any time doing that, how would you know what's important in your life, where are you struggling, and what you need to focus on next, and what you need to work on? You're so busy. From the moment the alarm rings, they reach over to the side table, grab their phone, turn off the alarm, look at all their notifications, and then start stroking that phone. This is how people get pleasure in the morning, stroking the phone.
And then every 10 years, someone has a quote-unquote midlife crisis when they realize that they're living the life that they've never contemplated, they've never planned, they're not connected with, right? And then that's kind of life. And then you're on your deathbed looking back saying, what did I do? Why did I value these things? And they're wondering why, and it's because they never spent the time in solitude with themselves.
Do the work now so you can spend the rest of your life living a life that's in alignment with your purpose. Once you figure out what you want now and what your purpose in life is, then you can spend the rest of your life living a life in alignment with that purpose. And talking about deathbed, when my guru was dying, one of the last things he said on his deathbed was, what an amazing life. I would not have traded it for anything in the world. What an amazing life. I would not have traded it for anything in the world. Now, what words to hear from a dying man? To be able to look back on your life and say, that was freaking spectacular. And how many people could say that? When you're so clear what you want in life, and you're so determined to get it, and you're willing to give up everything and everyone for it, then you're living a life in alignment with your purpose, and then you can spend the rest of your life in sync with who you are, as opposed to chasing so many different things around you that sparkle, whether it's, I want to be like that person, and I want to do this, and that sounds fascinating, maybe I'll try that for a few years. You meet kids nowadays that are 18, 19, 20 years old, and you ask them, what do you want to do? What are you studying at university? Oh, I think I'll do science and for a year, and then I might major in this, but I was also thinking I might take a year off, travel a little bit and then come back, and I'm not sure, maybe I'll do arts. I'm kind of interested in this topic. How do you not know what you want to do? We have one life. You don't get a second shot at this. A lot of times I think people have this misconception that, if you practice something in the morning, people say to me, DANDAPANI, if I practice meditation for 10 minutes every morning, is that going to affect my life? And be like, yes, but what are you doing the remaining 23 hours and 50 minutes? If you're doing things that counteract what you're doing in the morning, then it doesn't help. If you exercise for 10 minutes in the morning and the rest of the day you're eating, fish and chips and drinking beer and pizza, laying on the couch, it's not going to help. And it's not only about training the body, it's about training the mind too, right? The mind needs to adjust, and the mind is like a muscle. It needs to reshape itself to be able to take on a new way of thinking and a new way of behaving, and progressively hold that new shape. And that only comes through repetition and patience and slow, hard work of doing the same thing over and over again. One of my good friends is an Olympic gold medalist. She won the gold medal in beach volleyball. And she told me, and she had an amazing teacher, a coach, she said at one time the coach made her work on the volleyball court, do footwork for 6 months with no ball. So they trained for 6 months on the sand with no ball, and it was beach volleyball. But that's the training that most people just don't want to go through.